Hey there, dog owners in Shelbyville. You already know what a great place this is to have a dog. So today we're going to talk about finding the right trainer so you and your best friend can really make the most of it all together.
I mean, just picture it, right? You're taking a nice, calm walk on the people trail, and your dog is just trotting along happily beside you. No pulling, no lunging at every little thing. Or maybe you're just hanging out at Blue River Memorial Park, and your dog is a chill, well-behaved companion. That's the dream. And you know what? Good training is exactly how we get there.
Okay, so here's our plan. We'll start with why training matters so much here in Shelbyville. Then, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of finding a trainer, picking a program, and what it all costs. After that, we'll give you the questions you absolutely need to ask and finish up with some local rules and resources you'll want to know about.
All right, first up, let's connect the dots between training and just living your day-to-day life with your dog here in town.
You know, having a well-trained dog just makes everything easier and more fun. It means you can actually enjoy things like the summer concert series or a walk around the historic downtown square without feeling stressed out. It's really about making those moments pleasant for you, for your dog, and for everybody else around you. Okay, so this is a big one. How do you actually find someone who knows what they're doing? Well, it really boils down to two key things: their training methods and their qualifications. So the very first thing you'll want to hear a trainer talk about is positive reinforcement. It's a pretty simple concept. You reward the good stuff your dog does. This whole approach is about building a relationship based on trust, not fear. Using pain or intimidation, that often just ends up creating a whole new set of problems.
All right, I know these letters can look like a bunch of alphabet soup, but they're really useful. A CPD-TK, that means they've passed a tough test all about dog behavior. KPA-CTP, that tells you they've got a ton of hands-on experience. And if you're dealing with tougher stuff like serious anxiety or reactivity, that CBC-CK is the one you want to see. It shows they have specialized training in that area.
So once you've found a trainer you like, the next question is, what kind of training is right for you? Let's break down the different options to see what fits your goals. The two big ones you'll see are group classes and private lessons. Group classes, they're awesome for learning basic manners and helping your dog get used to being around other dogs. But if you have something really specific you want to work on, like, say, stopping the barking every time the doorbell rings, then private lessons are probably your best bet since they're totally customized to you.
Then there's the board and train option. This is where your dog actually goes and stays with the trainer for a while for some really focused work. It can be fantastic for getting a head start on things, but, and this is a big but, you have to be committed to keeping up with it when your dog gets back home. Your follow-through is absolutely essential for it to stick.
Okay, let's get practical and talk about money. Understanding what training usually costs around here will help you plan for it and make a smart investment.
This is a question everybody asks. And hey, the good news is that training around Shelbyville and Shelby County tends to be a bit more affordable than what you'd find in the bigger cities nearby. Let's take a look at some typical numbers. For a standard 6-week group class, you're probably looking at somewhere between $130 and $220. A 1-hour private lesson, that's usually in the $80 to $130 range. And yeah, you can see the more intensive programs like Board and Train are a much bigger investment, but this should give you a pretty good ballpark idea.
All right, you know what to look for, you have an idea of the cost, now it's time to actually chat with some trainers. And we've got a little checklist of questions to help you feel totally confident when you do.
Think of this like you're interviewing someone for a really important job, because you are. You want to hear them talk about their methods, and hopefully that means positive reinforcement. Double-check those certifications. A good trainer is also going to ask you a ton of questions so they can build a plan just for your dog. And they should be totally upfront about costs and how you'll both know if you're making progress. It's all about making sure you're a good fit for each other.
Okay, to wrap things up, let's talk about some local stuff. You know, knowing the rules and the best spots to go is a big part of being a great dog owner here in town.
Here's a number you just need to remember: 6 feet. Simple as that. Your leash can't be longer than 6 feet when you're off your property. It's a city rule, and it's all about keeping everyone safe and comfortable.
Just a few other quick things to keep in mind. You don't need a separate dog license in Shelby County, but you do need to have a current rabies tag on your dog's collar. That's state law. Also, just be mindful of barking. If it's constant and bothering the neighbors, it can be considered a nuisance. And hey, that's another thing training is great for.
So you've been training, where can you go to practice? Well, the Shelbyville Dog Park is the perfect place to work on recall in a safe, fenced-in area.
For practicing those leash skills with some light distractions, Blue River Memorial Park is fantastic. And the People Trail is great because it gives you lots of different scenarios and environments to work through.
Look, finding the right trainer is really just the beginning. It's the first step to having a calmer, happier life with your dog. Think about it. Having people over without chaos, exploring all the great spots around Shelbyville, it just opens up your world. So we really hope this helps, and we're wishing you and your dog all the best and a ton of fun adventures together.